everybody, and welcome back to X the Stress. Today we are speaking to a very dear colleague of mine, Chris Ngaka, who is also a specialist anaesthesiologist. He is the chairman of the Wellness Committee for the South African Society of Anaesthesiologists. He's an amazing ultra-distance trail runner. And more than all of that, he's an awesome human being. So Chris, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate your speaking to us about something that I know is very dear to you, and that's your experience of ultra-distance trail running and the ultra life. To start off with, why don't you just tell us what sort of running you do? I want people to get a very good impression of what sort of things we're talking about when we're talking ultra-distance trail running.
Yes, around 100 kilometers, 100 milers, it's sort of what I enjoy in trail. And just to describe that, it's remote, it's usually distance over mountains, so you get elevation gain. As an example, there's Ultra Trail Cape Town, which is 165 kilometers with 8,200 meters of elevation gain. These are remote. You'd often have what you call 8 stations at various parts of the route, depending on accessibility, obviously, because these are mountain races. So that's the crux and the essence of what it's all about. Yeah.
And of course, preparing for an event like that is quite complicated.
It is quite a thing. So you've got to prepare for it. It's advisable to start early because the key is consistency. So you want to start early, you want to start building up slowly. The importance of that is you avoid injuries and you avoid fatigue, which is quite important because remember, you're putting your body through something that is not used to, and you're trying to stretch it and to allow it to adapt to this new world and this new thing that you're trying to put it through. And also, that also allows you to put other things into that as well, like, strength training and recovery, which is also quite important because if you don't recover well, you don't train well. If you don't train well, end up being injured, then you don't achieve the goal that you've set yourself.
So we're sitting at a conference in Cape Town at the moment, and later in the week you scheduled to speak on the ultra life. So won't you give us a quick introduction as to, well, what is the ultra life?
The ultra life taken from ultra endurance or ultra running, which is what I do. So essentially is being able to set goals for your life, being deliberate about those goals, allowing the challenges that come in life to shape your way through, working your way through that, and allowing that to build resilience in order for you to achieve your goal, and allowing those challenges to come, because that's essentially what's going to help you to be better at what you do.
So the ultra life is, in your case, about ultra distance trail running, but it's much more than just that, isn't it? It's much more than just running on a mountain.
No, it's not just about running on the mountain. It's not just about being that strong, physically fit runner. It's more of a mindset, really. It's more about having that strong mindset of looking at things as more of a challenge rather than an obstacle to achieving something. And obviously, when you talk about endurance and ultra distance, yes, it's not limited to running, as you've correctly said. There are other ways. Swimming, that's endurance swims, there's endurance cycles. So it's anything really that gets you out of your comfort zone, which is where most of us like to be, but deliberately coming out of that comfort zone and challenging yourself to do something that actually challenges you. Ultra distance running, trail running, which is what I do, as an example. There's many challenges. I mean, if you look at a 100-mile race, again, just as an example, you can experience life in a day. There will be lows, lots of lows, and there will be highs. Now, the ability to stay focused during the lows and to know that despite being in a low moment, there will be a high that will come. Staying focused on the journey, and sort of taking on that challenge with the knowledge that it's a huge challenge, it's a huge distance, but just focusing on one step at a time and taking it one bit at a time certainly does translate to life, because life it's just like that, where the challenges may seem insurmountable, the challenges may seem to be coming at every distance, but the ability to have a positive outlook, a positive perspective to the challenges, and believing in yourself, believing in your capability, and believing that you've got the tools to work through that, and that when you come out on the other side, you'll come out better and stronger and ready to face similar challenges or bigger challenges as they come. So definitely, you can definitely draw parallels between the two, ultra distance running as well as life itself. And there is sort of some kind of evidence to support that. I mean, although the studies and the samples would be small, limited to only a handful of people, but we can definitely say for a fact that, you know, the way people approach ultra distance running, those people tend to be far more balanced people in life, and their outlook in life is also different from your other people. And that being said, there could be negatives to it as well. How one approaches it, it's very, very important. It cannot be something that becomes a source of unhappiness. I mean, it's like anything in life. Balance is important, and how you approach it is also quite important as well.
Chris, you said 3 things in your introductory statement that I really liked, and I'd really like for us to explore some more. You said that obviously for ultra distance trail running, it's a lot about physicality, it's a lot about physical wellness for your body and training that physicality. But equally, and possibly even more, it's about mental wellness and training your mental capabilities. And then the third thing you said is that it's about purpose. So won't you please just speak to us a little bit more about all 3 of those?
Physically, well, there's no question. I think the common conversations when you have conversations with people about ultra distance running, for instance, you know, the common comments would be, "Oof, I'm getting tired just listening to that." You know, like how do you run 160, 165 kilometers? I get tired just driving that far. So, obviously, the understanding for most people is that it's a massive physical challenge. What that means, you've got to be physically ready for it. It's not, I mean, you can't wake up one day and say, "Oh, well, I'm just going to go for a 160 kilometer run." Well, perhaps you might be able to get through it, but the consequences might be dire to your body. So you've got to prepare for it. Your body has to be well adapted to be able to deal with that sort of challenge. To be able to get yourself ready for that, training goes without saying. It's very important to train, and it's got to be structured training. And see, with that, there's a bit of an overlap to the mental side as well, because to be able to have a structure and to stick to that structure, you've got to be disciplined, and that speaks to the mental side of things. And consistency becomes very important as well, because unfortunately, these things, you can't be just a weekend warrior where I'll go for a big run on a Sunday or a Saturday whenever I have time and still hope to do well. You may get through again, because the idea is to prepare yourself to be ready for this sort of thing, to be ready for the challenge. It's not a matter of I'll figure it out as I go along, because it shouldn't be something that breaks your body. Your body should be ready and be prepared for it. The mental side, you plan for it. You plan for it from your training. So the mental training starts as your physical training starts, because most of us who do this, well, bar for your professional athletes whose job and life evolves around training and getting rest and all that, we still have other responsibilities as well. life happens. We have jobs, we have families, and we need to make time for them. Now, the mere fact that you've got to make time to do this, and the time that you often have control over will be very early in the morning. So that speaks quite a lot to the mental side of things, because for you to be able to get out, especially in Cape Town where we live, to wake up at 4 in the morning, especially in the middle of winter, to be able to get your run in before work takes a lot of discipline. And that in itself, it extends far beyond that, the fact that you're going to get the physical benefit, but the mental side of it would be, hey, at a later stage when things get tough, you'll tap into that tank and say, well, I've gone through this, I've done this in the most difficult of times, I am ready. And beyond just the ultra running space itself, if you look at life itself, challenges would come, and that's another tank again you tap into to say, well, on a bigger scheme of things, I've been through more, I've been through worse. And the other side of the mental aspect would be, it is challenging. There's no question about it. But the ability to stay focused, you've got to work on that, and that is something that you train. You will experience various emotions throughout the whole thing. So you learn a very important skill, which is acknowledging your emotions, acknowledging what you're feeling, and the ability to say, this is what I'm feeling, and giving yourself time to process it and to be able to take action. I think naturally most people are saying, this is what I'm feeling, and then we react to that. As Stephen Magnus correctly puts it in his book, Doing the Tough Things, it mentions the fact that we have to look at our emotions as messengers rather than dictators. So instead of feeling something, reacting to it, acknowledge what you feel, process it, and then action it, because it's just the way your body is trying to tell you, hang on, something is happening, let's do something about it. So during your ultra distance running, you'll have lots of those moments where you feel things, you experience certain emotions, and the brain is trying to tell you something. I believe that the body doesn't want to be put through what we put it through, but if we choose to be that voice inside our heads that says, hang on, you can do this, because the body feels something, the brain says, stop, you're causing damage, but you take over that voice and you say, this is what I want to do, I can do this, I'm capable. So that takes a lot of training, because you're training your brain, you're training yourself to be in charge of that voice and to be the one who decides and who determines which direction to take. But similarly, of course, there will be times where you feel something and something is definitely very wrong, and the ability to identify that and say, well, maybe today is not the day. And again, that extends to life as well. There are problems that we'll be able to solve and be able to navigate through, and there are those that will say, well, maybe not today, I will keep this and I will hold this thought and I will definitely do something about it at some other stage. So the two go hand in hand. I mean, that is not to say to have a strong mind or the mental toughness, as one would put it, you've got to go run 160 miles, but the 160 kilometers rather, but these are lessons that we can take, and looking at how one would approach these sort of distances, we can definitely take those and apply to life, where we become deliberate, we plan what we want to do, we set goals, we acknowledge the fact that there's going to be setbacks, but we understand that they're just challenges, they're just pieces of a puzzle that we just need to piece together while we're working our way through. But the other side to it, just as an ultra runner or an ultra endurance athlete would prepare their body, we also have to do certain things to prepare ourselves for that sort of thing, like deliberately getting ourselves out of our comfort zones, challenging ourselves, and getting into the zone where we live deliberately and have an intention on each and every day to better ourselves.
And then the third one was purpose. And that's the one that intrigues me about finding purpose in your ultra distance trail running.
The why. It's one of the most difficult questions I often have with my friends, especially those who don't run or those who don't run this sort of distances. Why would you do that? And it's the question that it's not easy to answer because there isn't one answer to that. You know, there's so much I can say around the reasons why I choose to go race 100 miles. Each person has got their own purpose, especially each person has got their own why they do things that they do. It's important to define that. It's important to have that clear because it is that reason that will always draw you back when it feels like, oof, this is perhaps more than what I'm capable of doing. But you'll always go back and say, but why am I doing it? So you've got to do it for the right reasons. Yes, maybe you're doing it because you have talent, but unfortunately that's not enough. There's got to be an intrinsic drive that drives you to do that. And that is the purpose that you remind yourself of when it feels hard to get up in the morning to go for a run, when you feel in life that you're waking up in the morning thinking, oh, I really don't feel like getting up today, but you're thinking, why should I get up? Every single day, one is going to live with purpose. One is going to have a reason how they want to show up that day. What is it that you're hoping to achieve with this period of time that you've been given? That purpose is what keeps you going, and that purpose is what allows you to keep trying to make yourself better each and every time.
You've really given us an insight into the intentionality that needs to come with developing the body, the mind, and finding the purpose in your ultra distance trail running. So I'm curious to know, what does a typical day in your life look like?
On a day-to-day basis, I need to be accountable for every second, literally. Training, it's something that happens on a daily basis. Yes, I would have off days, and yes, I've got to give time to family as well. So again, with training, it goes in blocks. So there'll be times where it's sort of intense, there'll be times where it's sort of relatively easy. So I have a full-time job, I have a family, wife, children, and I've got a whole lot of other responsibilities as well. I feel that the time of day that I have control over is early mornings. So generally I've got to be at work between 6:30 and 7 o'clock to be able to get ready for the day ahead. However, I also want to be involved in their children's lives in the mornings before they leave for school. So 4 a.m., that's most times that I get out for my morning run, depending on how long I need to be out for, but try to be back between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. This is now weekdays. And then, yeah, help with getting the children ready for school, and then get out and go to work. Weekends are different because that's when you do your long runs. Fortunately, I've got teenagers at home, so they're often not up before 10:30, 11, so I'm fortunate. So if I need to be out on a 5-hour run, then I'll be out between 4:30 and 5, and then as they're slowly crawling out of bed, I'm back home, then I can join in the festivities and be able to be part of the whole thing. Yeah, so that's rolling. I mean, there would be days where I am on call as well, so fortunately, those days you wouldn't be able to be working late and be able to wake up early the next day. But that being said, it's sort of a similar situation in Iran where you've got your plan A and plan A doesn't work. You've got to go to plan B, plan C, and go down the road and just go down the line. So on those days, that means the training would not happen in the morning, and I'll just have to hope that I'll find a gap sometime later in the day, which is what I would normally do.
And if you don't manage to train for that day?
It's not the end of the world. That's life, you know. We make plans, but sometimes the universe has had plans as well. So you've got to be able to pivot, especially in our lives where we have other much bigger responsibilities. Yes, your mind will be nagging you and saying, listen, you've got a 2-hour run today, I've got a 2-hour run today. But then you look and you say, hang on, realistically, I won't be able to do this. And missing today doesn't mean that I'm going to lose my fitness, you know. I'll get on with it tomorrow, and that's just how life goes. And that, again, it's a very important way of training your mind, you know, to sort of say, just because I'm not getting what I want today, it doesn't mean this is the end. Just gonna be able to find the positives. I mean, for example, on certain days I'll be like, well, I didn't get to run, get home, just take a yoga mat, stretch, foam roll. It is a productive day, and get to sit, chat to the family, and that's just the way it is. And it is another beautiful day.
Awesome, awesome. I absolutely love the attitude. So I think you've given us a really comprehensive view into what goes into ultra distance trail running. But for the majority of people watching this, ultra distance trail running is not on their horizon and probably never will be. But do you think, can you get the same benefits for body, mind, and finding purpose through going for a walk, or maybe running your first park run? Are these lessons learned from the ultra life transferable to any physical activity?
Absolutely. You know, chatting to people, you know, people will be like, oh, you run so far. Well, I only run 5 kilometers. And my response would be, nonsense. There's no such thing as only, you know. We all have, I mean, comfort zones, those differ from person to person. I mean, for me, getting out of my comfort zone was stopping running sort of your 20K, 30K, and sort of going on to something bigger that frightens me. So getting out of your comfort zone is picking that thing that really scares you. It pushes your limits, and our limits are different as people. For somebody, their limit really is sort of limited to the couch. So getting off the couch and going in Cape Town, the Rondebosch Common is the common place where you run for 2.5 kilometers around the common. That is huge. And that already is building something. It's building that resilience, and it's building those necessary skills which you can apply to life. And for that person, that is their ultra life. Mm-hmm. They will keep pushing those boundaries, their own boundaries, not somebody else's. So getting out, doing that park run, that is big, and it ought to be celebrated, and building on that, you know, because it starts with that motivation, you know. Once you have that motivation, that's a very important spark. So you harness that spark, you use that spark to start a big fire that's going to fire your engine and just get you going. Then you can build that consistency, and suddenly you're going to have done, I don't know, 30, 100 park runs, which is a massive, massive milestone. So it is for everyone. It's not for ultra endurance athletes, people who are considered to have some superhuman powers, which they don't, by the way. It is for everybody. Just getting up, getting out, and doing that thing that truly, truly challenges you.
Chris, we'd love to chat to you all day, but I know you need to go for a run. So thank you so much for your time. I absolutely love the insights you've given. I hope they've been helpful for everybody else. Thank you, and have a fantastic run.
Thanks for having me, Gwen, and looking forward to your adventure next April.
Great, thank you, me too. If you'd like to see any more discussions like this, please be sure to follow us on social medias or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much.